What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update and related news report. It's going to be a very big week coming up as members from the Senate have threatened to have a government shutdown, that they will not allow a government extension, a government funding bill to pass without stimulus. We're going to talk about that and another more urgent, pressing reason that Congress has to pass a stimulus this upcoming week, and it's a big one. Also, I have a new $500 stimulus check program that was just approved for thousands of people. I'm going to give you all the details of it in this video. But first, don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below if you haven't yet. It's completely free to do so. My wife and I do all the research for you on this stimulus check and everything else related, and we bring you all the details in a quick, concise video each day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, first up, now that the Pfizer vaccine is officially approved and will begin distribution starting as early as Monday, that actually makes a brand new reason, a urgent reason, to pass more stimulus immediately. And that is because the states and cities and counties will need billions and billions and billions of dollars to distribute this, to pay the trucking companies to transport it, the airline companies to transport it. These vaccines have to be refrigerated at a certain temperature to be transported. People have to be paid to work to actually give the shots and prep everything and move everything, and all that costs manpower and trucks and airplanes and billions of dollars that many states simply do not have. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said that New York alone will need $8 billion just to distribute the vaccine in New York. $8 billion. And he says New York doesn't have the money. They're on the verge of broke as much as California is. And a lot of these states will need billions of dollars, which will have to come from a stimulus package, or else they literally won't have the money. And states could literally run out of money this week trying to distribute these vaccines that the federal government promised they would pay for. Federal government promised that these vaccines will also be free to all the people. All that costs money that has to come from a stimulus package. And guess what? These billions of dollars are already in the two stimulus proposals of $908 billion and $916 billion. The money to distribute the vaccine is already in those stimulus packages. All they need to do is simply pass it this week. And the new recent outcry that $1,200 stimulus checks and $500 stimulus checks for dependents must be included in this stimulus package, that they need to basically pass within the next 5 to 6 days before the government shutdown, which will happen on this Friday, the 18th, that there must be $1,200 stimulus checks in there, or else they will shut down the government. That's because the government shutdown bill has been extended for 1 week until December 18th. And if they do not pass a new government funding bill, then the government will shut down. Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi have both said that a stimulus package will be attached to that government shutdown bill. And we're now starting to get more and more support from both Democrats, Bernie Sanders and followers, and Republicans, Senator Josh Hawley, who has quickly stepped up to become the hero of the people, to demand stimulus checks be in this week's package, or else they will vote against a government shutdown funding and will shut the government down until they pass a stimulus check at the bare minimum. They could actually pass a stimulus check without a package, but we really want a package and a stimulus check. And that is because in the actual stimulus package, well, depending on which one they go with, one of them has a $300 per week unemployment extension for 4 months. The other one has a $600 stimulus check and a $600 stimulus check for children. I think if they include the $1,200 stimulus check, that plan will be out, and they'll pair the $1,200 stimulus check with the $300 per week unemployment extension that goes all the way until April 2021. You pair that $1,200, which is the amendment that Bernie Sanders and Josh Hawley have adopted, to put on to one of those bills, most likely the one with the $300 per week unemployment extension, and you would have a deal. Thank God for bipartisan support from Bernie Sanders and Senator Josh Hawley for this new amendment and standalone bill for stimulus checks.
The senator from Missouri.
Reserving the right to object, Mr. President. This is a very simple thing that we're talking about, and I can boil it down really easily. If the Senate of the United States can find hundreds of billions of dollars to give to big government and big business, surely it can find some relief for working families and working individuals. And I would just submit to you that it is working families and working people who should be first in line for COVID relief, not last. And that is why the amendment that Senator Sanders and I have proposed is so common sense. $1,200 for individuals, $2,400 for families, $500 for every child. And as Senator Sanders rightly says, every member of this body has voted yes in favor of this relief before. What's more, I can't figure out who exactly is opposed to it. The President of the United States has said that he is in favor of direct assistance. I thank the Majority Leader for his own support for direct assistance. The Speaker of the House has said that she is in favor of direct assistance, and that is why there is no reason why this body should leave next week before we vote on and approve direct assistance to working families. Now, let me just say one other thing. Let me tell you about a phone call I had with a friend of mine at home when this Congress approved direct assistance back in March. He texted me and then he called me and he said, I'm seeing this news about relief that we're going to maybe get a check. He said, is that real? And I said, yeah, that's real. And he said, well, I don't know. I'm worried about taking it. I mean, what if we spend the money? I mean, we could use the money, but what if we spend it? I can't pay it back. You know, it comes back and now I got to pay it back. And I said, you don't have to pay it back. It's relief because you need it, because you're a worker. This is a guy who works in concrete. That's his business. And he said, are you serious now? You're serious that we can keep this money? I can use this for my family? And I said, that's exactly what it's for. And his comment to me was, his words were, man, this is a godsend. There are families like that, not just all over Missouri, not just all over Vermont, but all over this nation, and they are in need today like they were in need in March, and it is incumbent upon this body to act. And we should not leave until we do act. So having reserved the right to object, Mr. President, today I do not object, and I yield the floor.
That was Republican Senator Josh Hawley, who we wish that more senators and House representatives were like. If only Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell actually thought like that, we'd be working on stimulus check number 3 or 4, which is actually what Joe Biden has promised us in the new year. I do actually think that there's a chance that they could pass this $1,200 stimulus check bill alone, because as you heard him say, who would oppose this? Who would vote against that? I actually think they may, and again, this is just a possibility, they may approve this bill for $1,200 stimulus checks and not approve a stimulus package, because the stimulus check is very easy to pass. Who would vote against that? I don't think anybody's going to vote against that. But the stimulus package has a lot more problems with it. Namely, the two main things are the Democrats want hundreds of billions of dollars for states and cities. That's in addition to the money they need for the vaccines, which I kind of don't really see how they're not going to get the money to the states to distribute the vaccines. I mean, that has to happen. I really don't see any way around it. But the money for states and cities and the liability protections that Mitch McConnell and the Republicans want, mainly Mitch McConnell, to shield businesses from being sued for basically the virus. You know, I mean, someone sues a business because they think they got the virus there. It's kind of really hard to prove exactly where you got it, because it's not like, you know, a bell goes off and you're like, ding, I got it in Walmart on aisle 5 when I was next to that lady picking up a bag of chips. You know, that's a it's not an exact science, but those are the two main things that are preventing the stimulus package from being passed. I think if they can't come to an agreement on that this week is going to be the big week, upcoming week. This is basically do or die time. And Bernie Sanders says, I will shut the government down. I won't let people pass this government funding bill. And we will stay here till Christmas and past if we have to. We don't want it to come to that. So they need to either pass a stimulus package or the $1,200 stimulus bill. It'll be interesting to see if they pass the standalone bill just for the $1,200, if they will then say, okay, that's at least something that we've gotten out to the people. They go on recess for Christmas and come back in January. Question is, will they do that? A brand new analysis estimates that the US will need $3 trillion to $4.5 trillion to come out of this recession. And that is how much it would be required for the US economy to get back to where it was. Economists quote, "We need a stimulus and we need it fast. Every day that we wait, we risk de-enfranchising more people from the economy. Every day we wait, more people are facing evictions and falling behind on bills." Quote, "Congress is debating a stimulus package right now that would leave our estimate of true unemployment still hovering around double digits. We have the tools to put the economy back on track. Unfortunately, Congress lacks the political will to act." And for example, if you look at this graph, it shows all the previous recessions we've had going all the way back to 1948 with 0% unemployment at this top line here. And you can see all these other recessions, they got to like maybe 2% unemployment, 4% unemployment, 2008. You can see this white line here. And look at how bad 2020 is. Look at how much deeper the cut went, how many people were unemployed, and how we're still basically past at this point. We're still past the worst of any of those other dozen recessions. We're still way past the worst point of all those recessions at this point, which is why even if the vaccine literally was able to distribute to every single person tomorrow, which we know that's not going to happen, it's going to take many, many more months. It's still going to take much, much more time for the actual recovery to happen and for people to have confidence to go out and travel, to go out and buy food, to go to restaurants, to actually go out in public, go to sporting events, and actually be able to get jobs back, to get the money to even be able to think about doing those things again. The good news is we have states and cities that are passing stimulus on an everyday basis. Let me bring you a new one right now that is passing $500 checks. And this comment comes from a viewer named D-Boy the Don Music on YouTube. Thank you so much. He alerts us to a new stimulus program. He says, "Hey Jimmy, here in Wayne County, Detroit, Michigan's largest county by population, you can Google Wayne County CARES program. There is a $500 grant, which is basically a stimulus check that you don't have to give back, that will be given to 8,000 residents for a total of $4 million. The deadline to apply is December 15th, and there are reports from the county that they hope to issue more before the 31st of this year. Thanks for the shout out." Thank you for alerting us to this new plan. And yes, Wayne County, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan does have a $500 stimulus check plan. So if you or anybody you know is from that area, go ahead and apply for it and tell anybody you know about this program. If you know of any other states or cities that have new programs or have replenished old programs, comment them down below so our viewers can know about them. And if I see them, I may feature you in an upcoming episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video so others like you will know about these stimulus programs coming out and the federal stimulus that they need to pass this upcoming week. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next, or you can watch this video which teaches you how to build your own business selling products on Amazon FBA, which I teach people how to do. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks guys, and I will see you in the next video.